By the time the sun climbed higher, burning the last traces of mist from the valley, the humiliation Elias, Crow carried inside him, felt heavier than the rifle slung across his back. He rode slowly back toward his ranch, each hoofbeat echoing the laughter from a week ago, the way the town men had circled him like vultures, mocking his patched coat, his young age, his father's name spoken with cruel smiles. They had called him boy, said a ranch like crows would be swallowed by dust before winter. Said strength died with his father in that ravine 2 years back. Elias had stood there, jaw tight, fists trembling, swallowing his pride because pride didn't buy feed or fix fences. But something had changed since that day. It wasn't anger alone, it was resolve, sharpened by memory. As he reached the ranch gate, he saw the land with new eyes, the rolling grass his father once protected, the creek that still whispered through the stones, the old cottonwood where promises had been made. Elias dismounted and ran a hand along the fence, remembering his father's words. Respect isn't taken by force, son. It's earned by how you stand when the world tries to break you. That night, as the sky turned purple and stars appeared like watchful eyes, Elias rode east into the hills, where maps turned vague and stories grew old. He followed trails no one in town dared speak of, paths whispered about by travelers and traders, paths leading to the Red Mesa. People, warriors bound not just by blood, but by honor. Elias didn't go seeking revenge. He went seeking truth. 3 days he traveled, surviving on dried meat and creek water, sleeping beneath open sky. On the 4th dawn, he reached the mesa and stopped, raising both hands in peace as shadows emerged, men tall and silent, eyes sharp as blades. They surrounded him without sound. Elias spoke plainly. He told them of his father, of a debt long forgotten by the world but not by the land. He told them how his father once saved a Red Mesa child trapped in a flash flood, how he refused reward, asking only that the land be respected. The air grew still. An elder stepped forward, his hair silver, his gaze heavy with memory. "We remember," he said. Elias stayed with them through the week, not as a beggar, but as a man willing to work, repairing fences, hauling water, listening more than he spoke. On the 7th morning, as dawn painted the horizon red, the elder stood before him. "You were humiliated," he said softly. "But humiliation is a test. Those who endure it with dignity are never alone." Elias rode back toward his ranch, unaware that behind him, unseen, preparations had begun. 300 warriors rose with the sun, faces painted, weapons ready, not for war, but for justice. As Elias reached the ridge overlooking his land, he felt it before he saw it, the ground vibrating, the air alive with presence. And when he turned, the valley behind him was filled with silent figures waiting at dawn. If you're feeling the weight of this moment, if stories of honor, resilience, and unexpected justice move you, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now, because what happens next will change everything, and you won't want to miss. Chapter 2, the first light of dawn spilled over the hills like molten gold, touching the tips of spears and painted shields before it reached Elias Crow's eyes. He stood frozen on the ridge, heart pounding so loud he feared the warriors below could hear it. 300 of them filled the valley behind his ranch, silent, disciplined, unmoving. They did not shout, they did not threaten. Their stillness was more terrifying than any war cry. Elias swallowed hard, turning slowly, as the elder he had met stepped forward on horseback, his posture calm, his presence commanding. "Do not fear," the elder said. "We did not come to spill blood. We came because honor was insulted." Word travels fast in small towns, and by the time the sun crested fully above the horizon, the ranch road was alive with dust. The same men who had laughed at Elias a week ago rode hard toward his land, faces smug at first, then pale, then drained of all color as they saw the valley. Horses slowed, reins tightened. Some men dismounted without realizing they'd done so. No one spoke. The town sheriff pushed forward, his badge catching the light, though it offered him no protection now. What is the meaning of this?" he asked, voice cracking despite himself. The elder raised a hand, and the warriors shifted as one. forming a wide corridor that led straight to Elias. Every eye turned toward him, the boy they had mocked, now standing tall at the center of something far greater than himself. Elias felt fear, yes, but also clarity. He stepped forward, boots firm on the earth. "A week ago," he said, voice steady, "you humiliated me. You mocked my father's name, my land, my worth. I said nothing then, because I believed dignity mattered more than shouting." He paused, letting his words settle like stones. "I still believe that." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. One man laughed nervously, trying to reclaim his courage. "You think hiding behind warriors makes you strong, boy?" he sneered. Before Elias could answer, the elder spoke, his voice calm but heavy as thunder. "Strength," he said, "is measured by how a man treats those with less power. Your words showed who you are." The elder gestured to a younger warrior, who stepped forward holding a small carved token, weathered, old. "Your father earned this," the elder continued. "He saved a child of our people when the river rose. He refused gold. He refused land. He said only this: teach your children to respect the earth and the people who live on it. We have never forgotten." The token was placed into Elias's hands. His throat tightened. The town men shifted uncomfortably, shame creeping in where arrogance once lived. The sheriff cleared his throat. "What do you want?" he asked quietly. "No land," Elias said before the elder could respond. "No blood. Just this, respect. For my ranch, for my family's name, and for the truth." Silence followed, long, heavy, unavoidable. Then one by one the men lowered their eyes. A few removed their hats. Apologies came slowly, awkwardly but sincerely. Not all meant it, but enough did to change the air. The elder nodded once. "Then our presence has served its purpose." With a single raised hand, the elder gave a signal. The warriors turned as one, filing back into the valley, their discipline as striking in departure as it had been in arrival. Dust rose again, but this time it felt cleansing, like a storm that leaves the ground richer than before. Within minutes, they were gone, leaving behind only silence, humbled men, and a young rancher standing taller than he ever had. In the days that followed, things changed. Feed arrived on time. Fences were repaired, some by hands that once pointed in mockery. Elias's ranch was no longer spoken of with laughter, but with respect. And every dawn, when Elias stood on his porch watching the sun rise, he remembered the lesson carved into his soul. Humiliation endured with dignity can summon forces stronger than revenge. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that honor still matters, and that quiet strength can shake the world, subscribe to the channel now. More powerful stories like this are coming, and you won't want to miss what waits at the next dawn, a week after the warriors vanished into legend. Dawn felt different on Crow Ranch. The land was the same, dust, grass, wind, but the air carried respect now, heavy and earned. Elias stood beside the old cottonwood, the carved token hanging from a leather cord around his neck. He didn't wear it as a trophy, but as a reminder. Power had come to his door that morning, not because he demanded it, but because he refused to surrender his dignity. People from town began stopping by, not out of curiosity, but caution mixed with admiration. Deals were fairer, voices softer, names spoken with care. Elias noticed how men who once laughed now listened when he spoke. Yet he never mentioned the warriors. He never boasted. Silence, he had learned, was stronger than threats. One evening, as the sun bled red across the horizon, Elias saw hoofprints near the creek, many of them. They stopped at the water, then turned back toward the hills. No message, no sign, just proof that honor, once earned, is quietly protected. Elias smiled faintly and went back to his work. He understood now. True strength doesn't arrive with noise. It waits, watches and rises only when necessary. And those who humiliate the patient should always remember one thing. Dawn has a way of revealing who truly stands alone. If you felt the weight of this lesson, if stories of quiet power and earned respect inspire you, subscribe to the channel now. More unforgettable stories are coming, stories that stay with you long after the sun rises.